My name is Lily Korir.
My name is Thomas Athey.
My name is Owen Bezic.
I'm Andrew Asher.
My name is Carson Crochet.
I graduated 2023.
I graduated from Davidson College in 2019.
I graduated in 2021.
And my startup is called Kabuddy.
I'm the co-founder of Malik Dairy Solutions.
And I founded Lucid Bots.
The Nisbet Venture Fund has the potential to completely alter your career path.
So everybody thought I was crazy. I played Division I baseball. I was a double major. I studied economics and Spanish. This problem, I almost couldn't sleep at night. I get so excited about the opportunity.
Everybody can be an entrepreneur, and you definitely should be an entrepreneur.
Through all of college, I was running a business. That's kind of what I did when I wasn't doing school.
There were so many moments where it felt so right, and so many moments when I doubted myself and my idea.
The Nisbet Venture Fund competition really makes you look at your business as a whole.
I think entrepreneurship is the most valuable thing any Davidson student or student in general could explore.
I'm building Mesa, which is a software platform for independent musicians and their managers, and it helps them take care of administrative tasks such as organizing assets, creating contracts, and ensuring that they're maximizing their revenue.
I started Gatherer Inc. here as a junior, and we help healthcare systems with their strategic facility capital planning.
My startup is called Kabuddy. It is a cancer care package business with the goals to provide love, comfort, and support to individuals impacted by cancer.
I'm the co-founder of Malik Dairy Solutions, where we help small-scale dairy farmers in Kenya.
And I founded Lucid Bots. And what we're focused on is extending human reach by building the most productive robots.
Yeah, I think the Nisbet Venture Fund competition really makes you look at your business as a whole. I feel like I spend a lot of time on the product side trying to figure out the best way to create software. So just by entering the competition and going through all the stages and all the learning experiences, I was able to understand, kind of the basics of forming a company early on.
First was a process of actually doing the pitch and getting to work with a team of local mentors. And we had 4 mentors, and I kind of joke, I'm like, did they handpick these for us? I feel like we got the golden mentors. And even after the competition, they continued to give advice and counsel. And I experienced a lot of personal growth through working with them. But I often say when we started the Venture Fund competition, we kind of had an idea. But by the end of that competition, we really had a business. But now we also had line of sight to some meaningful capital we could begin to invest in the business.
What I liked about it was that it lasted over a period of time. It wasn't just sign up for this fund and stand in front of an audience and do it. It was months and weeks leading up to it with prep. I do remember working with the other students that were also pitching and hearing their ideas and their, struggles and what pain points they were trying to fix. It really felt like there was a foundation being laid and prepping for not just the pitch itself, but if I did succeed and win the pitch and that money, what would I be doing with it and how would I be effectively doing it?
I competed in it 3 times, so I won it my 3rd time competing. I think, the Nisbet Venture Fund is probably, in so many different ways, kind of set me up for success.
And for international students, I'll tell them, I know it's different for us. It's a different experience. A lot of things are not as straightforward as you would like. So I'll say just try it. Just try whatever that idea that you have. I get it's different geographies. It's different. Things function differently.
And the way we got started was almost by accident. We saw these window washers one day hanging off the side of a building. And it was a windy day. This platform they were on got stuck in the wind, and they were just hanging on for dear life as this platform smashed into the building. And we started with a very simple question of how could we make that dangerous job safer?
I grew up in a small-scale dairy farming community in Kenya, so I've always seen the challenges. I grew up with them. My parents, everybody in my community was a small-scale dairy farmer. And it seems that everybody was just comfortable in this situation that they weren't making profit, but that is what they just did for a living. And I was like, there sure has to be a better way to do this. There has to be a better way to make this life sustainable.
The moment that started was I was actually walking down at Main Street, Davidson, and I popped in a shop and I was looking for a gift to get my mother. She was going through chemo and radiation at the time. But in one of the shops, there's this tiny little crocheted bunny. So I sent her that little bunny, and that's where it all started, that this little animal could have a significance and provide some level of comfort.
It was as though I traveled to the future and I'd seen the way the world would work one day. And now I was on this mission where I traveled back in time, and I needed to convince everybody that this crazy idea is actually the way the world was supposed to work. If you situate yourself at that time, again, I'm a student athlete, I'm majoring in nothing engineering related, and I'm embarking on this decision to graduate in 3 years to go focus on this company full time. So everybody thought I was crazy.
I did the Davidson in Silicon Valley, it introduced me to the Hurt Hub and the programs that were here. And then when I came back here in the summer, I was a gig up consultant, and I met and worked with different entrepreneurs. I didn't really know much about entrepreneurship, so that helped me learn more about the Hurt Hub, what it does. At that point, I thought, oh, really, we can do this. It's not just an idea in my head. It's actually something that can be done.
So in one capacity or the other, all of college, I was running a business. That's kind of what I did when I wasn't doing school. That's what I was interested in. So I really was like doing everything the Hub had to offer, was spending a lot of time here. And Liz Brigham actually connected me into a music tech research community. And I ended up meeting my co-founder there. He was a lead researcher, and he was writing various research papers on music and tech. One of the papers he wrote had really stuck to him in like a problem that he saw. There are tons of rights holders on a song, and it still is very hard to ensure that all these various rights holders are getting paid out when you're distributing this music in a kind of new and emerging medium.
Yeah, it wasn't really a what, it was a who. So it was when I met my co-founder my sophomore year, where he was a consultant in the space and showed me his workflow from his Excel sheets to his PowerPoint decks, and kind of just went, can we put this on the internet? And from there, I got really excited about seeing that there was a problem to be solved in a way that software could be applied to it to help people in their everyday work lives.
So by the time I was actually done at Davidson, the Hurt Hub hadn't yet opened, but I did benefit from, at the time it was called the Failure Fund, which I'm very glad they changed the name of, as well as the Venture Fund, the Nisbet Fund. And now when I go back to the Hurt Hub, I just have a huge smile because it's the exact type of place I wish was there when I was a freshman on campus.
So when I was a freshman, I think the Hurt Hub had just opened, so I was familiar with it, and I knew there was this thing called the Try It Fund where you could get $1,000 to try something really cool. So after that summer, or during the summer, after I was with my mother, I learned even more about naked mole rats and that they were resistant to cancer and actually used in cancer research today. So I wanted to get her a naked mole rat stuffed animal. That didn't exist. So I came up with this whole idea. I talked with distributors and manufacturers and figured out someone that could make one of these naked mole rats. Got them out and realized I need money for this. So I contacted someone at the Hurt Hub, told them my idea, and they immediately said, apply for the Try It Fund. And that's where it all began.
I remember the decision to go like all in on the startup, not take another job and just focus on this. And I remember pulling up our business checking account and we had $42. And I was like, we have $42 left. All my friends are going back to school. We haven't really figured this out yet. And we've been trying to pitch some investors, hadn't yet gotten one. I got a call from a potential investor I had pitched, and he's like, you know what? I really like what you're building. Why don't you fly up to Chicago and we'll spend the day together in person? And at the end of that day, I'll give you an answer on if I'll invest. And then I thought to myself, how do you get to Chicago with $42? And I actually went door knocking around Davidson trying to find a house to clean. And luckily, one of the houses I knocked on was one of my Spanish professors. And he was like, hey, if you pitch me this job in Spanish, it's yours. So we made a few $100 cleaning this house, bought a ticket to Chicago, and that was our first $25,000 check.
So I think the first big one was trust from farmers. For a very long time, they've been exploited, and when they see someone new in the market, they're like, oh, they're just coming to get the most profit they can from us. So I think gaining that trust, and rightfully so, they fear because they've been taken advantage of and everybody's just trying to earn something from them. So I think gaining that trust from farmers was biggest challenge, and having to adapt to that and having to listen to their needs and actually prove to them that we were there long term. And I think when we were starting, it was harder. How do you even prove that you're going to be here long term when you're not even sure that, like, you're not sure you're going to get funding, or you're not sure that you're going to get enough support to do this.
It's sometimes just bewildering to me to look at the software and see, oh, there's $15 billion of capital running through the software at any given time. And that's a lot of money. I didn't know that that much was being spent on different construction projects, but it's like, yeah, it's a lot. And it's all being forecasted and everything through the software. So, we initially started with the one cancer center, and they had maybe 30 projects, maybe $5-10 million in spend. And now our latest client is the largest healthcare system pretty much in the Midwest in Michigan, and they have over 1,000 projects and $15 billion. So just that scale and kind of seeing the impact we can make is pretty surprising.
I was sent to a brain cancer conference, and it was in Chicago, and this little girl came running in holding a kabaddi. And it was the most magical moment because someone had seen it in the store and saw the connection to brain cancer and bought it for her. And it was her best friend. She took it in the bathroom and everything. So that just moments like that though is what really kept it going for me when otherwise it was really hard.
I knew that drones could clean buildings conceptually, but I knew if we didn't build them ourselves, we'd never be able to really establish a successful business. So the Hail Mary pass was, I moved into this attic above a garage of one of our early investors' neighbors. And for about 60 days, I woke up every single day from the first minute I was awake to when I went to sleep, and just taught myself mechanical, electrical, and software engineering to build our own cleaning drone. And about 60 days later, we had a functioning cleaning drone, did some basic automation. We actually have an old automation flight on the side of Belk Arena that became the foundation of our Y Combinator video. And then getting into Y Combinator allowed us to raise our first meaningful round of capital of about $1 million. And from there, we've just been really obsessed with hiring the right people.
So I met my co-founder when I was actually still in Kenya before I came to Davidson, and he had the same background. He also grew up in a small-scale dairy farming community, so it was the best. We knew all the challenges that we'd been facing, and we both wanted to solve this problem.
Your kind of relationship with your co-founders is said to be like a marriage, so it's very, very serious. I mean, one of the biggest reasons early stage startups die is because disagreements with the founding teams.
It's important that you share the goal, and it's not somebody just this is my goal, this is my vision, I'm bringing you along. It's actually somebody that you share. I think it's easier that way because you want the same goal, you see the same thing.
It'd be exciting. The energy in the room should increase the more you guys talk about different things.
What I always recommend to every early stage entrepreneur is spend a lot less time in a room on a whiteboard and a lot more time outside of that room with your potential customers.
I think that representation, it matters a lot. And I appreciate this so much about my parents because they raised me to just be the best, and they always wanted me to do whatever I could. They didn't care that I was a girl, because a lot of people in Kenya still do care to some extent that, okay, maybe girls don't do this, girls why are you an entrepreneur, you're young, you're a woman, you shouldn't do this.
When you're building a startup, it's kind of like you have a machete and you're in the jungle and you're just kind of slashing through, and you don't really know where the end is. You might think you know where the end is, but you're just slashing through it. You just kind of got to keep going. And I think, that's been surprisingly true. I think the process kind of played out the way it was supposed to. I honestly am glad when I first pitched in the Nisbet, we didn't win.
And looking back on it, there's no reason not to enter it with any idea you have, because what you go into it with could be just an idea. It could be a formation of an idea, and the experience and the resources that you get during it will maybe craft that idea into something totally different. And then you get 4 shots at it. I mean, if you look at Thomas Athey, he tried a few times and ended up winning.
We won a year later, but in that year learned so much, had a kind of way better use for that money. And I think there very much just is a process.
There's so many moments where it felt so right, and so many moments when I doubted myself and my idea, and I still have that on a daily basis to some degree.
Everybody can be an entrepreneur, and you definitely should be an entrepreneur.
I think the Nisbet Venture Fund has the potential to completely alter your career path if you wanted to.
or some people say it's like jumping out of an airplane and trying to build a parachute on the way down. It's challenging, but at the same time, the most rewarding journey I could have ever imagined.
I think the biggest one is that just in general, I feel very grateful to be a part of the Hurt Hub community here at Davidson.